Hello, I'm Nan Simonson. I'm a health and wellness coach with Lifestyle Medical, a medical practice in my area that focuses on lifestyle as medicine, and so do I. I'm going on 6 years as a coach with them and a health and wellness coach on my own, and a culinary coach. I wrote Aging Powerfully, and the precepts of lifestyle medicine and more are in the book after a short oh, bit of the book looking at my earlier life, because that sort of gives a little bit of insight as to where I was coming from. Today, I love this subject. And as I've said before, when I do the PowerPoints meeting, we have a group that meets, the PowerPoint group, and they are in the background in the gallery, so to speak, and we'll get back together and we'll look at these things together. I wish I had you with me. I wish whomever is watching this had a chance to, with me, to discuss these as we go. And by these, I mean practical steps to creating a wellness vision, because each of these is something that could take 3 or 4 minutes, and you may want to grab a piece of paper, and I will list um, these steps on the description for this video, so you don't have to write the question out. You can just do the process, and you could do it maybe with the whatever comes to mind, flow of consciousness. But this could be something that could take you days to put together, and you'll see what I mean. You can get very deep into it. The value of a wellness vision. Let's talk about that. A wellness vision is an empowering statement that clarifies what you most desire to experience, create, or achieve by imagining yourself living in an ideal state of health. I'm going to reread that. A wellness vision is an empowering statement that clarifies what you most desire to experience, create, or achieve by imagining yourself living in an ideal state of health. Your wellness vision is based on your personal version of what optimal health and wellness will look like and feel like for you. As you create this vision, consider how it aligns with your other desired outcomes, values, and priorities. Ask yourself, how can I bring this ideal future into reality? You see what I mean? We could go deep as a well with this, or we could stay simply on the surface, whatever happens to come to mind. It can be adding some resistance training to your already stellar or not routine, or add some movement. I could go on and on with examples. But I wanted to simply put this out there to you and get you going with this. Next week, with our group, we're going to examine further what this actually looked like. So I'm telling those of you in the gallery that this is something that we will give additional attention to, and those who are watching this can communicate with me via the comments on YouTube. All right, there are steps that can be taken to make this process impactful. And I'll ask you again to ask yourself, how can I bring this ideal future, this vision of myself that aligns with the outcomes, values, and priorities that you already have? How can you bring this into reality? Let's look at a few steps. There are 8 steps here that can help you use them as a way of kind of, stepping through the pattern of thought that you want to take on for this. Number 1, acknowledge the value of this process. It'll help you form a detailed mental image of what you want. So this can be, again, shallow because we're doing it quickly, but the process of actually doing this, creating a wellness vision is monumental. The outcome of this can be monumental. It'll help you form, and I'll repeat myself, it'll help you form a detailed mental image of what you want. Number 2, list your desired outcomes. This process, or of this process, make a list of what you would like to, as it says, feel and envision as your optimal health and wellness endeavor. So list your desired outcomes. The clearer your wellness vision, the stronger your motivation to change and make your progress will be. Number 3, get clear on the driving forces behind that desire. What's behind this desire, your driving force? Is it intrinsic, meaning is it coming from within you? Is it a desire to, well, live your best life, to be a certain kind of a person who does certain things, to create a feeling of, I'm going to use the word certainty, though nothing is, certainty that you're doing all you can to live a life that will take you as well, as long as possible, or may it be extrinsic? You've got a wedding coming up at the end of the year, and you've been thinking, I'd really like to show up and feel great in that dress that I was looking at or that I used to wear. Is it extrinsic because the doctor says if you don't do it, your diabetes is going to become out of control? In other words, somebody else telling you or you telling yourself what it is you want, because it affects you at an internal level. Number 4, use guided imagery to help you create a clear, consistent reminder of what you're working toward. What does this look like? How does it feel? So take a minute. You've maybe written something down. This has gone too fast and maybe you haven't, and you're going to think about something, but grab a thing. It could be the example of, I'm going to add a little more of this and that to my diet, to my movement, to my mindset, whatever it is. And then imagine what it will feel like and what it'll look like and who you will be and what that will look like as you reach for and ultimately accomplish this vision. But the vision doesn't have to require a guaranteed outcome. It's you looking at where you want to be, seeing it clearly, and simply believing that you have the power to bring it about. So take a minute to create an image, and you can just give yourself a few words that will help you remember what that image looked like, what it felt like. The essence of what you're feeling right now. Give you a minute or two. Okay, number 5, create a vision statement that allows you to easily recall and revisit your vision at any time. As I'm going through this, I'm thinking of the most, well, the most obvious process that I went through 3.5 years ago, well, almost 4 years ago, when I actually wrote my book. It was obvious that I was about to turn 70. My vision was, wellness vision, was that I could be walking into a black hole, that declining that had already begun. There were health markers all over the place, and every specialist said, you need my pill, my procedure, my medication. We need to rip out that gallbladder. In other words, we own you. I had that, but I had another one, and that was, wait a minute. I know of a way, and I happen to believe that lifestyle as medicine and all of the pillars combined will get us there. That lifestyle as medicine could give me far greater health, far longer. And so the vision changed right away, and the vision statement became, I know with lifestyle as medicine and my willingness to follow it, which I, using these steps, walked right into, and I'm strong with them now with occasional flubs. But what I've realized is they don't change the vision. They are simply a shoulders back, adjust your posture and walk on kind of things, because it's what you do most of the time, ongoing toward a outcome. And in any case, my statement became, I believe that I have at least 1, 2, or 3 decades more of rich, vibrant health by accepting and then living these precepts. If that statement hasn't changed. As a matter of fact, I take the time to question myself when I've fallen off of that mental assurity, because all of us have times where things just don't go right health-wise, and sometimes even emotionally. And the outcome can't come true if the pathway becomes blocked. And so it simply requires a way to unblock that pathway to get right back into that wellness vision and the pathway toward it. So that wellness, that vision statement, come up with something, say a thing that flows off your tongue, write it down, or give it a shadow of what you're thinking, so that you can take some time to find those words that can roll off your tongue and that you can say to yourself anytime, to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, or simply to ride the ride of how good it feels to know where you're going, and that you're going to get there because you're doing enough of the right stuff. As they say, stuff happens and there's no guarantees. But if we do enough of the right thing, we won't end up like most of our country. And that is 70% obesity rates, overweight and obesity, chronic diseases adding up to 3, 4, and 5 per person or more, and medications in a bag. We don't have to go there, and we don't have to live that way. Number 6, get clear on your priorities and focus on how you'll bring these goals to life. Get clear on your priorities, because that's part of the situation. Well, I don't know how to cook those foods. I don't have time to exercise like that. I have a bad knee, and so I can't do that. Well, there's solutions to all of that. In other words, none of those are a showstopper. It's a matter of looking at whatever we write here as a priority and finding a way to, and what I see as one of the easiest ways to bring things about is to take a calendar and find a place for it, because we find a place for everything. We find a place for the show we want to watch. We find a place to see people we want to see and jump for lunch when they ask us. So we have to put these things down, and that becomes as etched in stone as the other things that we do on a regular basis that have then become our priorities. 7, identify your resources, both internal and external, that can help you stay on track. So what are we talking about? We're talking about anything that can help us get where we want to go. Maybe a better understanding about how to get better sleep. maybe a community that we may want to adopt to allow us to get closer to other people because we've been isolating a while. Maybe a new physician that's a lifestyle medical doc instead of an allopathic doctor that I promise you will hear about your ailments and write out a prescription. They will not ask how you eat. They won't ask how you sleep. They won't ask if you have community. They won't ask if you move. Because that's not what they're doing there, and they've got 10 to 15 minutes to have that conversation. So identify those resources that'll make the difference. You can write those down. And then finally, identify and recruit your cheerleaders. My group here in the gallery, we've chosen each other. If you want to hear more about the PowerPoints group, it's free, you're welcome. And it's, you can write me at Nan. No, you can't. You can write me at, Aging Powerfully with Nan, name of my book, Aging Powerfully with Nan at gmail.com. And anyway, the cheerleaders that we have in our life include our family, our friends, groups of people who meet with a certain intent. You look for those people. You look for your own intrinsic guidance system, but find those cheerleaders that will not question, that will not pity when things get hard, and will not commiserate, but will simply keep reminding you. And this becomes quite internal. I got this. I got this. I can make this happen. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And that is your wellness vision. This is a major step in getting what you want in your life as it relates to longevity and as it relates to wellness, and therefore as it relates to feeling great through your life until that day you're just not here anymore, instead of feeling worse and worse and worse, which some people fall prey to. And that's all. I hope you're having a great day. I know I am. Consider subscribing if you haven't, or sharing if you haven't, and hope to see you again soon. All right, bye-bye.